Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel and to today's video where I am doing two different eyeshadow looks using the Snow Moon palette from Ensley Reign. This was given to me by a subscriber. They sent me a box of a whole bunch of goodies and I'm just having so much fun dipping into each of them and creating content in case you guys had an eye on this palette or something else from the brand and you wanted to see. I do have an Ensley Reign playlist that is linked in my description box. I'll be using a couple other brand new products in my collection today, lips, cheeks, etc. and I hope that you will enjoy this video. So stick around if you want to see how I did these two eye looks with the Snow Moon palette from Ensley Reign. Put something on my lips. This is the shade Hot Pursuit from Kaleidos in their Glossy Lip Glaze formula. If you're familiar with the e.l.f. Glow Reviver lip oils, it feels a little bit like that. It's very balmy, very gel-like. It is definitely a little bit thicker and it feels like it has a bit more substance to it. So I think that's the difference between like an oil and a cream or glaze or balm or anything else, but it actually feels quite lovely on the lips and it's this beautiful purpley kind of color. I don't know that the packaging always matches the color on the inside, but maybe it does because it is very much like this soft gray based lavender kind of color. It's pretty. Okay, I also want to do something on my lips. This is the Colored Raine cream blush in the shade Butterfly. This was from, I've gotten so much stuff lately from just really generous subscribers. This was from my Colored Raine video. Somebody mentioned in the comments to that video that they hope I keep this blush because they thought it would work well on me. I have used it a couple of times and I do think it's pretty. It actually pulls more pink. Maybe it's safer to pull pink than it is to pull blue because how many people are going to look good in a blue undertone? So I think that's probably pretty standard. Also, my subscriber in that video said that I should tap the cream blush on the back of my hand to remove extra product because I'm not really super into blush. Like I like it, but I don't wear a lot of it. I guess that's what I should be saying to clarify. It's easy for me to feel like I've put on too much. So I appreciate that tip to tap it onto the back of my hand because look at all that color that would have landed on my cheek. But instead, my cheek, it gets a more diffused look. So I appreciate that tip. But I've actually worn this blush a couple of times because I do like it. It's funny because I don't quite feel that it's really purple, and yet if I compare it to something that's truly not purple, that's really pink or peach, it definitely pulls a little bit more purple. And I have a purple highlighter that I usually pair with it to just draw out a little bit more of that color. Very satisfying click in the packaging. Colored Raine is out of business, so you know you can't go and get what I'm saying is nice. But that's all right. Let's go with the Aurora Glow Kit from Anastasia Beverly Hills. There's a purple highlighter in here. Yeah, I think that draws, I hope you can see that with my lighting. I think that draws the purple out of the blush. When the blush is faded into the pink, it kind of leans back towards purple when paired with a purple highlighter. But now it's time to prime my eyes. I will be using the Glamlight Icing Primer in the shade White Frosting. I usually use the White Frosting shade when I have a really cool toned look. And I'm not going to be talking a lot through today's video because I'm doing two looks, and I don't want to take a long time. I like my videos to be a very manageable and approachable length. Today, of course, I'll be playing with the Snow Moon palette from Ensley Reign. My baby is napping and I'm taking advantage of her being content and quiet. Did you happen to see my video uploaded with two looks using the Wolf Moon palette? I'll card that above here, and this is backwards. Charming. I will card that above here for you guys, but this is what the Snow Moon palette looks like. Again, I received this along with so many other new things in a box from another content creator who's been watching some of my videos. I don't know if they're actually subscribed or not, but they, I believe, received all of these items in PR and they sent me just this incredible box of goodies and I am still pretty stoked about it. Today I want to do two completely different looks. I think I have a plan for both of them. I really want to play with this dark shimmer, and I didn't do a really dark shimmer with the Wolf Moon palette, so I think I'll use those today. Maybe kind of lean into the purpley blue things and do something a bit darker. And then I really want to play with this right here, this Winter Halo shade. I see like 6 different colors in here. I see pink, gold, blue, orange, white, purple, green. I don't know. Is it technically a holochrome? I don't know. it's really striking and I want to play with it. So I'm gonna dive in and we're gonna start creating some eyeshadow looks. I had a tentative plan and now I'm changing my mind, kind of. But no matter what you do, I mean, everything in this palette is looking good with everything else. Even with the surprise that multi-chromes bring, it's still gonna be beautiful, whatever it is you dip into. So I really don't feel like I can go wrong. This feels very safe. Doesn't require a lot of thought. You can just pick up the palette and go. But my first plan has been slightly modified. I don't think I'll use the dark blue matte in this look. This is now the shade Shiver. I'll leave this in my outer half, I think, and soften over here and kind of carry it into the blended section over here. I actually think I'm gonna carry Shiver more onto the lid space as well. I'm curious to see how the shimmer plays on top of it. So, I mean, I just think it's gonna be fun. I don't tend to use dark shimmers unless I'm doing something very smoky, or just to bridge the gap between the light shimmer and the dark mattes. Then I use dark shimmers quite consistently, but as a focal point or a standout choice, not often. All right, now I'm grabbing Midnight Echo. What a gorgeous name. By the way, these two collections, Wolf Moon and Snow Moon, both came with a lip gloss and 3 of the Moon Dust shadows, which are really sparkly shadows in little pots. I am planning on including 1 of the lip glosses and 1 set of 3 Moon Dust shadows in a future giveaway, possibly my 1000 sub giveaway or a future one, but I haven't fully sorted out what that's gonna look like. Anyway, there will be 1 gloss and a set of 3 of the little Moon Dust shadows given away at some point. Now, this is a beautiful color. It's actually not as sparkly as a lot of the other ones. I don't know if it's just purples. Purples, I've heard, can be quite tricky to formulate. I'm gonna grab Frozen Aura. Speaking of sparkle, I'm gonna grab Frozen Aura and lay that in this inner third of my lid space and also carry it a bit onto this, and there we go. Yep. Now we've got some sparkle. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Midnight Echo shade is beautiful, but it's a little bit more of a metallic, gorgeous shimmer, just not as sparkly as I would expect from Ensley Reign and comparable brands. But now we've got some sparkle and high shine over here. So that's lovely. Lower lash line. I'll pick up Lunar Rose, which is a mid-tone pinky shade. Just gonna lay it really lightly on my whole lower lash line. A little more Lunar Drift and Shiver in the outer corner here. So blendable. The mattes. The mattes are incredible. They're just incredible. I have a napkin on my lap and I buffed off this brush and I'm just tweaking this shadowy blended area here. And now for an inner corner highlight, I will grab, it might not actually be a highlight, but I really want to play with this. Yeah, it's not a highlight, but I want to put it there. It's going to give me a cast though. This is the shade Winter's Breath. Golly, that's gorgeous. Let's put it on the lower lash line at the inner corner. Oh my goodness. It looks like gold dust, except not very gold. It looks like non-gold gold dust. I wouldn't ordinarily do that with that part of my finger, but that's just kind of where I picked it up. Let me get something a little more precise, a flat brush, and just control that a bit better. Yeah, it's not an inner corner highlight because when I turn my head away, I get a little bit of, it creates some shadow right there. So I will pick up Frosted Glow, I guess. It's the only one that's light enough. There are no mattes light enough for an inner corner highlight for me in this palette. But that is super striking. So there's look number 1, and now I'm going to switch over to look number 2. This one I want to start with Polar Petal, which is kind of a peachy matte, but maybe I need a different brush. Yeah, this brush is doing nothing. It's such a light color and it's so close probably to my skin tone. Also, it doesn't seem to pick up incredibly well. It's not, I mean, we can't even see it, can we? That's too bad too, because it's quite a contrasting color in the palette. I mean, if you look at the palette, it's the one that stands out as being quite different from the rest. But it's not really, it's barely picking up on my brush. This is the first time I've had any problem with any Ensley Reign shadow, matte, shimmer, and anything in between. That's not doing anything. Okay. It's too bad. So let's grab Moonlit Chill instead and see if that one is any better. Yeah, already I'm getting more pigment on the brush. And payoff on the skin. Okay, I think that Polar Petal palette might work on someone with a much, well, I was gonna say darker. Actually, it might work on someone with a much lighter skin tone than me or different undertones. It's very, very light, but honestly, I feel like I didn't really get much product on the brush. So it might not be a matter of the color, but instead the payoff itself. I feel like that's too bad because having a peach matte in here really brings a bit of a different, it brings a different option to the palette. Anyway, someone with a darker skin tone may find that that color, if they can get it, is quite ashy. I'm not sure. It could work on someone who's extremely pale, but again, I feel like it's more a matter of getting it out of the pan than having it show up on the skin. I'm going to continue with Moonlit Chill and I'll throw it through the entire crease. My hope was to do a peachy gray two-tone look, but since that peach kind of did nothing, that's not an option now. At least not with this palette. Not that I don't have peaches elsewhere. I'm going to deepen just a tiny bit with Lunar Drift. Again through most of the crease. Well, I guess all the crease. These two colors together look quite purple. That's beautiful. Now I was thinking of leaving this side quite a bit lighter. So I'm going to grab Winter Halo. This is the one that I said was so many different colors. This is not, again, not quite the level of sparkle as a lot of really exciting shimmers. On the eye, it's looking quite a bit pink. I see a lot of pink coming through. I'll take a bit of Snow Angel because I haven't used that one yet and dab it where? Right in the middle here, I think. And back to Winter Halo so it doesn't get buried. I'll drag that one up a little bit higher too. Now with an angled brush, I guess it would be an eyebrow brush, I'm picking up Silent Night, which is the dark blue matte in the palette, and I'm going to line my lash line. I don't usually do this with mattes, but I kind of wanted to do something a bit different, a little uncharacteristic, just to give you guys some options. I mean, most of my looks are kind of the same format, and I thought that doing this would be switching it up a bit. Now, with the same brush, I'm going to do an inner corner flick. If I were using anything other than a shadow, like if I were using a cream or a liquid product to do that flick, I would first lay down an inner corner color, preferably a matte, but if I couldn't, then I would lay down a shimmer. But if I'm going to take shadow on top of a shadow, I'm not going to get the precision. Therefore, I didn't bother laying down a color first. I just put it on top of the skin space. And I'm gently feathering this out to the inner corner. And now I will pick some up and do a little bit of a wing. Now this is not my good side for doing wings because usually this side's better, but you know, we'll do what we can do. I put a smidge on this lower lash line, but I don't want to keep it there looking very stark. So I'm grabbing a really loose blending brush and picking up a little more Moonlit Chill. This is apparently the star matte of this look. And just softening the outer lower lash line corner. You can see that winged eyeliner. I think it's clear, but it's also a little bit clumsy because it's so thick. I mean, it's really hard to get precision with a brush like that. But again, for the purposes of today's video, I just wanted to give you some other ideas. Something else to look at that wasn't the same old, same old. Not that I mind the same old, same old. In fact, I rather enjoy it because it's my style, but to give you guys very different eye looks and colors, and I think I achieved that. I do prefer this one on the whole, although I like the lightness of this one, and I love the inner and outer wings. I love that cat eye shape, even if, actually that's not terrible. It's just a little thicker than I ordinarily would do. Okay, I'm gonna choose something for my waterline and just finish this off and I'll be right back. And here we are, I have finished off both looks. I'll tell you what I did. I put mascara on both, but before that, I put a dark purple on the waterline on this side. This is the shade Champs from ColourPop. It's a beautiful, majestic, rich royal purple. And then on this side, I started with white at the inner half of the lower lash line, and I finished with the shade Fluffy from ColourPop in the outer half. This is just a beautiful pink. Well, that's it actually. Mascara and you know the rest, because I did it already in the beginning of this video. So I'd love to hear your thoughts. Let me give you my first impressions of this palette. Between this one and Wolf Moon, I think on the whole I've preferred, it's hard to say, of this quality and this kind of like a standard this high, I would say so far my only qualm is this one right here, which I feel it's hard to pick up out of the palette itself. Even when I swatched this palette, it was hard to get that shade on my finger to then swatch on my arm. And then with a brush, I used two different brushes. I don't know if it's synthetic or natural or whatnot, but one was from Singe Beauty and one was from Blend Bunny, and neither one wanted to pick up anything from this color. Now, I think that the color is not exactly my skin tone, so if I had been able to pick it up, I would be able to get a little bit of payoff in my skin. It would have been light, but that's the color. It's just a light peach. I wasn't really able to pick it up at all. Like I rolled the brushes around, I dug them around a little bit trying to get the product onto the brush, and it didn't really work. And yeah, even in a swatch, it's there, but it's barely there. So I don't know if this particular one is a dud or if it's just, like, I'm not even gonna bother wiping that on my napkin. It's just a sort of like, it's gone now. I think that one's the dud in the palette, but so far, and I used everything except, did I use all of them? I don't remember. I've lost track already. That's my brain. I think I might have used every shadow in the palette, at least a little bit, and the rest were beautiful. I think that this one and this one were not as sparkly as I would have liked, honestly, and they were like the main shimmers for both looks. This one, incredible. This one, incredible. This one, incredible. And this one, yeah. So 4 out of 6 were a little bit disappointing, but again, think about what we're comparing here. We're taking a really, really high quality and comparing it to itself, right? If I were to take these less stimulating or exciting shimmers and compare them to almost anything else from other brands, they would still stand out. So it's not to say that these are bad shimmers, they're just the least exciting in a palette of exciting shimmers. And this is the least exciting matte in a palette of beautiful, buttery, soft mattes. So take from that what you will. It's just my opinion. Of the two palettes so far, I think I would say I prefer Wolf Moon, just because I don't remember there being any shades in Wolf Moon that made me feel a tiny bit let down, again, compared to the standard, which is high. I hope that makes sense, but I think that the looks are all beautiful. I don't have any complaints about the looks. I hope I was able to give you guys two very different effects. I thank you so much for being here today and for taking the time out of your day to click on my video, my thumbnail, my YouTube channel. Thank you for giving me your time. I would love to hear in the comments which look you like the best. Do you like look number 1? Do you like look number 2? Can't you decide? Have you picked up this palette? Have you picked up Wolf Moon? What palettes do you own in general from Ensley Reign, and what have been your favorite? I thank you so much for being here. I think I said that already, but perhaps you'll consider liking and subscribing before you go. If you want to see more content like this, there is an Ensley Reign playlist as well as lots of other stuff linked in my description box, and I look forward to seeing you guys in my next video. Bye.